I can't believe I'm finally doing this video. Hey y'all, how are you? It's Burgess Taylor, our Journey with Burgess, and we're going to be talking about what I'm using for 2022. I would wait for one of the last things that's going to be part of my 2022 setup, but Moxie Life doesn't come out with their new stuff, I don't think, until November. I'm on their email list. I'm going to be getting a Moxie Life planner. I also have the Cultivate What Matters 2021 Power Sheets Goal Planner. This is the 6-month undated because I'm going to be using it for the last quarter of the year as well as the first quarter of the year. I may or may not get the Cultivate What Matters for 2022. We shall see. Let's get into this. I also am going to be getting the Astro Cow calendar. I will put links to things below. The Wee Moon date book planner. Those have to do with the spiritual stuff. I usually just write down the information for astrology and moon and stuff out of those and then use the actual planners as ephemera, the stuff that's in them. I am using a Hobonichi Weeks. It is usually in my wallet. That's the wrong pin. It is usually in my purse, and I take it with me. It goes with me everywhere. I carry this around. This is an everyday carry, and I also have the Hobonichi A6. I'm not really using the A6 as much as I think I would if it weren't dated. I like having a little notebook with me, and I write in it, doodle in it, do whatever in it. But I'm finding that the dates on the Hobonichi pages really, in the A6 anyway. So I decided I got this. It's a regular Hobonichi Weeks. It is not the Mega. I don't need that much paper in the Mega. And they're more expensive. And I tend to just put it, like I said, I put it in this. And it goes in my purse. I end up writing appointments and things. Because I am doing Self-Care Sunday, one of the things I have been thinking about doing is working on some of the self-care stuff in this. I've debated over it or using the B6. I'm not sure. I'm kind of figuring things out this last part of this year because I am tired of switching things up. I really would like to find a system that works well for me. And I don't mind adding things every now and again, but I would like to get to the point where I'm just every now and again switching covers. So I think the Weeks works well as an everyday carry and as something like along the lines of a project. And self-care would be good because most of what I put in here are appointments and things. I have debated. So I'm thinking about using this for the steps. And then up here, writing down maybe my weight at the beginning of the month, maybe the middle of the month, the end of the month, or each week. I'm thinking about maybe each week. In this calendar, I will be having appointments, anything that's really important, birthdays, events, that kind of stuff. On the weekly pages is where I think I'm going to keep up with some of the self-care stuff and write notes about it over here. And then in the back, any kind of projects that have to do with self-care, any kind of notes or whatever, any suggestions from the doctor. And then back here, one of the things I was thinking about, so this has 100 in it. And I have filled this out a time or two. I have debated over, I think what I may do is write down the books that I'm reading in this, maybe. Or I might put down things that are on my list of things to do, or the things I think I want to put down things I've done. So whether it's a book I read or a place I go visit or whatever, I would like to put that down so I can list them throughout the year. So where I visit, things I do, things that stand out. If I take an artist date or I go plein air sketching, or we go to a park or a playground, if we take Victor somewhere, if I go visit somebody, I think that's what I'd like to do. So I got the Hobonichi Cousin the full year because I would like to use, I'm going to be using the Moxie Life for work it has goals and stuff, and I've debated over personal stuff in there, but I think because that's not going to go anywhere, it's going to sit here on my desk. That's going to be for work. And the Hobonichi cousin, the whole year, is going to be for our personal, like my finances, my weekly planning, anything personal. I may end up doing the tarot cards that I pull. It's going to be more for me personally, and it's my personal planner. The daily pages will be all kinds of different things. Like right now in the AVEC, I'm journaling in the other one, but I am doing different things. Like this was yesterday, this is today, this was the tarot card. I have some things that I did. I was time tracking yesterday. I wrote a little note, did a little bit of affirmation, a note to myself, and the tarot card, and something down here. I have done all different kinds of things in here. I have stuff for self-care Sunday. I have all kinds of different things in here. I have done all kinds of things. And I think what works the best for me if I'm using the Hobonichi. So for example, this is me planning out next week. And this is this week. So we're talking week 4 for Self-Care Sunday, which that video went up. I talked a bit about my self-care toolkit, and I talked about comfort zone. We also talked about boundaries and comfort zone, and then what's coming due is going to be kindness. So I'm going to be, where you do an act of kindness for either yourself or a loved one. And I have different things. I may do one of each. Okay, so Hobonichi Cousin 22, that's personal planner. I'm going to be carrying this A6 Wonderland 222 notebook. I know I used the Hobonichi thing in there. That's an old one though. And what I plan on doing, I have done a future log in here simply because I know how I am, and I may need to write something down that outside of the Hobonichi. And then I have my word for the year. I chose it. Focus, the verb, adapt to the prevailing level of light and become able to see clearly, pay particular attention to. As a noun, the center of interest or activity, the state or quality of having or producing clear visual definition. I think the power of words has an extremely, and how we tell ourselves our stories, like we make connections, and we are storytellers. Even when we're making connections, our brain makes connections. And that is what that says, the power of words. That's all I have in here. And that's because, like, I will write notes, I will doodle, I will do all kinds of things. I have a couple of different little A6 covers, so I'm probably going to start out the year in the red and go from there. I have the Hobonichi cover with the bird on it that I may switch in the spring. And then this will come back out in the fall, and I may use the bird for the spring and the summer. I have a couple of other A6 covers I might switch around in there. So I have the B6 Wonderland 222 and the Papermood for filling. These are both B6 with Tomo River paper. I have B6 Stalogy as well, but these look completely different. How this looks, let me get the other. Okay, here is an open Papermood for filling. I have set up November because I'm using a bullet journal. I'm debating, and I'm using a personal journal. This is 2021's November stuff. This is November, December, and January. These are memo pages. I like how they have this. It's almost like a Calendex kind of thing. I have my personal goals, projects, and stuff that I'm working on. This is going to be for a brain dump. Then we have November. I'm using sunflowers. So I've already started to kind of figure out some things. And this is set up as a bullet journal, but it's going to be very much more of personal journaling. So I have self-care stuff, and then I have some things. It has to do with November in here. Not sure that it's going to stay, but this is where I'm going to be doing astrology, my personal journaling, anything like that I won't really be showing a whole lot on YouTube. I will show it on occasion, but most people aren't really interested in, some people are, some people aren't, so I usually end up showing the bulk of that kind of stuff on my Patreon. Now this is what this looks like, but like I said, the paper, you can see the difference here. You can see the difference. The Wonderland 222 has time, like in the Hobonichi. It has where you can write the date, and these lines that go up like this, they're a little bit darker, so you could actually quarter it off. First quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter. You can separate it into that, whereas the Papermood for filling has quite a bit of blank space up here, a line that's probably for the date, and then just grid. It has less space per page for the grid, like 1 or 2 blocks, but that's okay, because like I said, one of these, whether I end up doing the B6 or the A5, will be an actual bullet journal, and the other will be an actual like personal journal. I haven't decided yet. I am thinking about sticking with the B6 for the bullet journal and using the A5 for my personal journal, because using the Hobonichi cousin for my personal planning and then the Moxie Life for work I don't really need a whole lot of like space for the bullet journal. I don't really need that much, because a lot of the planning is going to be in the Hobonichi cousin and then in the Moxie Life. So this is just to kind of to keep things together. So I'm pretty sure that the B6 is going to be the bullet journal, whereas the A5 is going to be personal journaling. The problem with that is that I've been back and forth between the two, and I've even tried a B5. This is the Stalogy B5. I've been using it a bit as a bullet journal, trying to figure out whether I really wanted a B5. Like, I like quite a bit of stuff in here, and it's been enjoyable, and I like having this space. However, what I'm finding is that I don't really need so much space. I need to fill in some things. I don't really need so much space because I have planners, and the planners really, I'm being more redundant than is okay with me. I'm okay with being redundant. I have ADHD. I need to be somewhat redundant. But what I'm finding is I prefer to do some catch-all journaling, some project planning, project notes, that kind of stuff in this, rather than I'm doing a lot more. If you notice, I'm doing much more of the project stuff than anything else in here. So as of Thursday, I quit using it as a bullet journal, and it's just going to be for projects. So I'm going to relabel things whenever I go to set up October. I'm not going to do much in it right now, except for plan out the self-care Sunday stuff and do some research. So with the Cultivate What Matters, I have started doing some of this. I have quite a bit, but like I said, I'm not starting it until October. So I've been taking my time going through and figuring out, and it's messy, and I don't care. It's mine. So this is where I am at currently. So I think I've covered everything but this. So I have the Hobonichi cousin whole year and the Hobonichi cousin AVEC. And what I've been doing is mostly journaling on the daily pages in the whole year. Let's fix this so we're not wonky. All right, it says it's balanced, but it's so not.
Okay, I think I've got it all sorted out now.
So what I have been doing with the Hobonichi AVEC is I have been using it as a bit of a planner. I have some things covered up. I have been using it for astrology stuff. Right here is the stuff for Self-Care Sunday. I've been adding some things to it. I have set up October just with some stickers and some fun stuff. I'm going with like a little bit of a witchy theme. When we get to where October starts, I use this pretty washi tape with the moon, and it has like stars and these really pretty flowers. I haven't filled it up with all yet, but I will get there. And then I will have something back here for October. And like I said, I've been using this. So then we get to here. This is a Taroko Design Breeze. Bringing an element of fun to an otherwise challenging situation can help to distract attention from the fear, resulting in a positive state. So one of the things that I wanted to do, just because in here I have October set up in the B6 bullet journal, which is right here. So this is today. This is the setup for next week. We get to where I have Mabon is Tuesday, so I have the autumn equinox stuff in here, and then Sun enters Libra on the 22nd, so I have that. And then we get to the end of September. When October starts, I have October in here, and I have some of my October to-dos, some of the important things. I'm going to write my intentions and stuff. I already have that elsewhere. In the A5, this is the planets. This is the information that's going on in the month of October, stuff for Libra. And then we get to where I've actually set up October. I went with a purple and, like I said, a witchy theme. And then this is my brain dump page. This is more of I've got other things that I'm doing personally. So it's going to be mind spill. It's going to be my plans and goals and intentions and stuff. And then I have kind of done a different kind of thing for a tracker, and that's pretty much all I have in here. I do have the stuff for the end of October for Halloween right here, but I haven't put it in there. This is getting so chunky, it's getting very hard to write in it on the left-hand side. So I thought I would keep up with my personal journaling for October, because for October, I set this up. So I'm going to use the B6 more as a personal journal for the month of October. I'm going to use this A5 for the bullet journal. I've got quarter fours, goals, October, November, December, and then overall, and then my intentions for the fourth quarter. I have definitely went with a witchy kind of vibe. This is September, October, November, and December little calendars. Let's see if I can get a bit closer. Books I've read, I'm gonna make a list, and this would just come out of a magazine, and these are books to read, a list of books. Like if somebody tells me about a book and I write it down, then once I start reading it, I'll move it over here. If I haven't bought it or I don't own it, then it'll have like a dot, and that means I need to get it. And then once I get it, I'll put a check mark by it, and then once I put it over here and I've read it, then it gets an X. And then I have this because I'm going to have October here, but I'm waiting on some vellum that I ordered that is sort of horror, thriller, Stephen King, The Shining, The Red Hand of Blood kind of, and just some different stuff. So I've already set up the calendar, and I kind of included the washi tape and this little bit of the pumpkin stuff from the scrapbook paper that I had gotten with my little witchy stickers. And then here we go with the one line a day, the to-dos, and the goals. There's another one of those little books, The Worst Witch. And then we get to the tracker, which I've changed. This is more in-depth. The other one is just a basic thing. This is the self-care project and the weeks that are going to be for that. Then this is the first week. So it's the last week of September, the beginning of October. When I first saw this in the antiquarian sticker book, it reminded me of The Shining, and so I put it in here because, like I said, I'm waiting on the hand and something else. So this says Red Rum, and these stickers kind of reminded me that. That's a little spell book and a ghost with some a candelabra, and that says Spooky. And that's it. I don't have anything else set up because I've been kind of figuring out. Right now, I don't have a Moxie Life to do my work stuff in. So one of the things that I have been debating on is because I have so much of the more personal stuff in here with the astrology, stuff like that, that I'm going to be using this and putting the work stuff in here. And this will be more of the personal stuff in here. This has gotten so very chunky. So we'll see. I've got some vellum. If I don't like what... I know I'm going to like the one hand, so that may go right here. in the A5 size. And then I have, I might do something else right here. Put out October, I might do something else. We'll see. That was the freebie printable. I may do that again. I don't need it here because I've got so much other stuff for October, like right here, that I don't need it. And I know why this is getting chunky. It's because I have added so much stuff to it. I've got tip-ins. I've done tarot. I've got watercolor. I've got more tip-ins. I've got pictures. More tip-ins. I've been using this as a bit of a journal and a bullet journal. I've been journaling. I've been doing all kinds of things in here, documenting life. And I think that is the key for me, is that the B6 feels definitely more like a document my life kind of thing. Because I have the B6 already set up for November in 2022, I'm going to use one of these. The other one will just stay until I need it. It's going to become my personal, my document my life journal, because they're not dated, and journaling for me needs to be not dated, because there are days when I don't journal. However, I'm pretty much planning or figuring out things every single day, and one page is fine for that, which is what I'll be using the Hobonichi Cousin for, which is why I didn't get the A6 dated or the B6 dated. That's why I didn't get the Wonderland 222 planner. I don't need it. What I plan on doing is having a document my life journal. This is projects. This is goals. And this is more of a monthly check-in thing, whereas the Moxie Life is more of a weekly check-in thing. And then when it comes to the A5, I have some A5 notebooks. I have another Breeze, and I have some Nanami Paper 7Cs notebooks that have only been partially used or that haven't been used at all, that I will be using for next year. The Cousin's going to go in this. And then one of these is going to house just the A5 notebook. I have a couple of different A5 size. I have two Moterms that are A5. I have the red leather Hobonichi cover from 2015 that Maya gave me. I have a number of different things, y'all. And I'm super excited because once I narrow things down, 2022 will be much better because I will have figured out things by then. And I really do like documenting my life in the B6 size. That's my preference, is documenting my life in the B6 size. I'm doing the bullet journal in the B6 or in the A5, depending. Like October is going to be in the A5. I may find that I continue with this and I may end up, even though I have got so much bullet journal stuff in here, I may end up covering some of this. Like, I don't mind doing, I can cover that up. And I could do one line a day for gratitude. For my personal journal, I could cover this up, and I could cover this up with whatever, and like the one line a day could be one line from the day, like I could just write, and then I could cover this up, or I could just make notes about the self-care, and the rest of it, I may end up doing that. I think I'm going to do that. I think this is going to be the document my life, and we'll start that in November. That makes so much sense, and I'm going to use the purple thing. We're going to go here, and we're going to put this stuff this way because that's for October. And then I'm going to be documenting my life in here and finishing it up starting October. So we're talking mind spill and stuff like that. This is just for me personally, because like I said, I'm going to be using the Hobonichi Cousin for the stuff for the doctor. So the information that I get from my Fitbit, I'm going to find a way to start putting it in here in the weeks, because when I go to the doctor, taking with me is usually this right here. And the Hobonichi weeks and the A6 will go together. And then I probably will change covers. This is getting so chunky. I will probably go back to my red cover for October. I think it could probably house this better. And I think that's where the B6s are going to end up, is the red cover. Because I also have all of these in the red cover. So I'll have all red covers. I've gotten ink on them. I am not precious with them. Yeah, and the only thing that won't be is this, and this has red in it, and I love this cover. I really do love this cover. So that is my 2022. Sorry it's so long-winded and, everything. But yeah, bullet journal, A5, personal catch-all, journaling in the B6, and the Hobonichi Cousin planner. And this has just been, I've been doing catch-up journaling in this. I have journaling stuff in here. It's just journaling. And we'll do, I've got some catch up because I was so sick for July and August that there's not a whole lot. Like, there's still missing pages, like when I took my 17-hour nap. But I have been doing some journaling. It's time. I've got to do some catch up though. I don't think I'm going to use the Hobonichi for that kind of journaling anymore. For one, I think the dated, there are days when I'm really busy and some of that stuff goes in the bullet journal. A lot of that I can move into a journal if there's something, but there's some days when I am doing stuff in the bullet journal and then I don't need, or I don't have stuff for that kind of journaling, or I don't need to, feels like, and I can just draw or watercolor or whatever in my sketchbook, or just take a page. If it's not dated, I mean, I could do that in the Hobonichi as well, but I did that here. So it just depends, but I'm happy, I think, with my choice. The Moxie Life is going to be, like I said, the work planner, but you can't get those until November. It works out, I think, okay for me, because it will be the work and goal planner. Cultivate What Matters Power Sheets is not really a planner. It only has like a calendar for each month. That's it. I'm feeling pretty good about my choices. I could go back to I probably could end up doing everything in this B5 if I wanted to, but it's so big. It's so very big. I do like it for projects. So I'm either going to be ordering a cork cover from Brie or a clear cover, depending on what I can afford. It's definitely B5 though. These are pretty hefty. That's it, y'all. You have a good one. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you enjoyed it.